Hello, boys and girls. How's it going? Welcome to the How's It Going podcast once again. Today, we have another very special guest. Every guest that comes on the podcast is very special right now because of how small the podcast is. So anyone that agrees, right, is just like, doing me a huge favor. So today we have a very special guest, my 学妹 from my high school, Lunnie Gan. Lunnie Gan. Welcome, Lunnie Gan. Okay, Lunnie. Hi. How are you? Name of
Hello.
name of the show. How's it going? Please give a small intro.
Hello. Hey, Justin. It's been good. I actually just recovered from COVID. So
Yes.
that's why we aren't able to do the episode last week. I'm Lunnie. Like what Justin said, we met in high school back in Ichong last time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been, I think I've been studying and working in Melbourne for quite some years, like over 6 years, I think 5, 6 years.
So long.
And then came back around there because I worked for 2 years plus, studied 3 years. So
Oh, wow, that's a long time.
around there, yeah. It is. And that changed my mindset a lot, but we can talk about that later on. But and then came back to Malaysia in the middle of the pandemic. I came back right during MCO. So that was actually how I started a digital marketing agency in Kuching, which is something that I've never really thought of. I always thought that I would be in KL, because there's a market there. Never thought that Kuching had a market, but it happened. Pandemic happened and, just went with the flow. So that's how we started. Also venturing a bit more into training this 2 years, just because I'm a Facebook certified trainer and also has been helping like training business owners, giving workshops and all that. And that's something that I enjoy a lot. So that's something that I want to go into a bit more as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's me.
That's cool. That's nice. Okay, but let me just start off by let's go from Ichong time. Let's go from there onwards, right? So my
Sure.
memory of you, okay, I think everyone around our age knows Yan Xiulun. Okay, I think because every Monday, right, during
No.
周会 something, you got something, you have to go on stage to collect something. So your friends, right? Your friends, you, Bobby, Chongqing, these three, I think your three sisters that always on stage one, always every week or every 2 weeks something on stage. 杨秀伦参与演讲比赛 something like that. So that's my memory of you. Like 神童 level like, and another girl. So there's another one.
No.
Yes. No, 不用谦虚. Boeing, yes. Yeah, the 96 gang, 96, right? Yeah, the 96 gang, the 神童 gang. That's my deepest memory of you, because I'm the one that will. I'm the one, me, Martin, and the guys, the one that 罚站 at the yeah, we are the 罚站 boys.
You guys are late for assembly.
Late for assembly or making noise, and then Albert, rest in peace, Albert. Albert will call us out on the mic and say,
Oh, yes, on the mic.
来这边罚站 happened before. So it's a complete contrast between one is a 顽皮的小孩 and one is a 模范生. It's a
The good kid.
very
I was very much the good kid. Yeah.
Yes, very much the good kid. I remember. So yeah, that's my memory of you. What's your memory of me in Ichong? Naughty kid. The naughty kid.
No, but you date a few of my friends.
Oh,
So that's how.
a few 咩 so many 讲到好像很多这样，有咩 a few date
Yin Yin, right?
I didn't date her. I like her only.
Oh,
I didn't date
okay.
her. I didn't date her. She didn't like me back.
I feel like there was another girl, but my memory of you is that's one. Another one is because I know Darren pretty well.
Okay.
I mean, like better. I know Darren better because same class as Kellen last time.
Oh
And
yeah,
then-
Kellen. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also Jordan from Mark. So
Oh yeah,
you were
from
the older
my-
brother.
I'm the older brother.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so you have like
Yeah.
the all. I don't really. I think out of the three of us, I'm the
Yeah.
one that I don't know you the most. Right? We're not super
Yes,
close.
yes.
我们可能一直
Yeah.
我们都没有讲过话，可能。
我觉得我们没有讲过话 we just like hi.
Yeah, like I
You
know.
always very friendly.
Yeah, I know you. This 学
And the
妹.
English, I know you as the English, in
English.
Ichong there's like an English group.
Wow.
So you're probably more of that English group.
Oh wow, that's a nice thing to hear. Okay, cool. It's nice to be known for my English. Yeah, so yeah, I remember. So Darren through Kellen, Jordan because he worked for you for a while, right?
But actually through Mark, we met since we were kids. for Jordan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mark is your
And
cousin,
I always
right?
knew him since since 三小.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 三小. So that's another thing. Your
Mm.
mom was a 三小 teacher also. I was 三小
Yes,
also.
she
Yeah,
is.
so but your mom
Yes,
was never my teacher before.
I think so. Yeah, it wasn't in the year.
Yeah. Very cool, very cool. Okay, so your memory of me is I tried to chew your friend. That's your memory. It was very awkward at that time because her brother was my best friend. And then,
Oh.
yeah, so I know him first, and then I become his friend, and then slowly, oh, then I got a crush on her. Then I tried to treat her, but she didn't really respond. So I didn't treat her for very long. Also, I just know she like not interested. And then after that, I think the my first girlfriend was Olivia in Kaosan. When I was Kaosan,
Oh,
she's younger
yeah.
than you by
I
one
know
year.
Olivia. Yeah, a
Yeah,
year
yeah, yeah,
younger. Yep.
yeah. That's my first
Yep.
girlfriend, and then the one now, the one that's my fiance is my second girlfriend. So 乖小孩, I only got two girlfriend before.
Oh, wow.
Very good
Okay.
lah. Yeah, so that's like my memory of you in Ichong. And then what else? Oh, so I remember that in Ichong you were science stream, right?
I was science stream, but I was never. I stuck in science.
Uh,
Physics, chemist.
yeah lah.
Oh, so
But your
hard.
suck in science is also like not.
No, hey, to be honest, my UEC, I got, so the results I got was 4A1.
Oh,
And guess what's the 4 subjects?
okay, 三语言讲嘛, right? So English, BM, Chinese,
Correct.
and
And
that.
art.
Oh wow.
Art.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
All my science subjects flunk. Like not flunk, but like it
But
just didn't go well.
not the
It
top
wasn't. It really wasn't good. Yeah, because I was also focusing a lot on debate in I think in my Gaosan years, because we really wanted to win and competitions and stuff. So I really didn't, always 抄数学, don't do much, don't practice as
Were you
much,
Li Zhong or Li
and that
Xiao?
makes difference. I was Li Zhong.
Oh, that's very different for a
Yeah.
Li Zhong student, right? The Brian Lee.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
he was like, I think he was Li Zhong as well. Yeah, and then he was he's the 最后一名 of Li Zhong. So maybe. Yeah, so I didn't. Li Zhong people also 抄 a lot of 抄 questions like that. But yeah, that's what I was gonna ask is like, after you graduated and then you already knew that you weren't really into science stream, right? And then
Yes.
so you out of the bat you went to university and then you started like studying marketing. Is that what you studied?
Actually, not really. So I took Bachelor of Arts. Very thankfully, my 4A1s were helped me get in Melbourne Uni.
Okay.
I was like, thank goodness, because that was really not a great result, but it got me in. And I was doing Bachelor of Arts, so majoring in media and comms. But actually, arts was a lot of essay writing. But the good part about and like sociology and studying about like talking, just seeing how Angmo talk. I think that was a lot of my degree and how they write.
Oh.
But in Melbourne Uni, yeah, because you do a lot of essay writings, but they also offer this thing called breadth. It's like electives where they encourage you to take subjects outside of your major. So in this case, I took marketing because I thought it was a bit more practical, as compared to my arts degree. Because arts degree was an 80% Angmo degree. I tell you, we were the very few Asians.
Oh.
And when I say Asians, if you talk about Malaysians, even lesser. At least in media and comms. If you're talking about psychology, it's a bit more.
Okay.
More Asians. Yeah, but in one class, there's like in a tutorial, there's probably me and a Singaporean. That's it. And her English is like way better. Coming from Itong, our English is considered okay in Itong, but then you go there and then you just feel like, oh my god, I'm the worst.
I see.
First year was a struggle.
I see. So, but then your major is arts, so marketing was like a minor, is it?
It wasn't even a minor actually. It was just electives.
Oh.
But I've always I think uni was a lot about exploring and it was through like some internships I did or like talking to people, and I felt like okay, marketing seems okay to go into. It's something that I'm interested in. But to be honest, like I didn't know what I wanted to do because I was reading my diary the other day, and I think my third year, and then because it's quite hard to find a marketing job in Melbourne or in Australia as an international.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, my dad was like, okay, I give you half more year of rent. If you can't find a relevant job, then just come back. So, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, exactly. But it was just about trying a lot of different things. And then like I was in the community for like University of Melbourne Student Union for international, and then trying events, trying this and that, going into a startup. And then I felt that, okay, this is actually what I enjoy doing. And then I started learning that like digital marketing in a sense. It's fun.
Okay. Whoa, but I'm like, okay, then, okay, first of all, like, just like from my understanding, right? Why did you pick arts? I feel like arts is, I don't know if like, how would you find a job in Malaysia with an arts degree? Like, what do you learn in arts actually? Like, I
Yeah.
understand that like it's good to explore and like open your mind, but I don't know like what kind of job can you find with an arts degree in Malaysia?
So it's always a running joke lah. These art students, no job sort of. It's always a running joke in uni. I guess I chose it because I wanted to do media and communications. I think that's something that I was interested in.
Okay.
But Melbourne Uni focuses a lot on journalism, which is not my strongest suit in a way.
Okay,
Even though
okay.
I worked in a magazine for a while, that sort of thing. But that's why I chose it. And I guess in the essence, people always ask, does uni, does it matter? Does it help with work? It doesn't in the marketing sense, but it helped a lot in terms of, I think, personality and how you approach things, how you think about things. Because I remember my first tutorial, right? Like, coming from Itong, I think the syllabus, or we have quite a bit more spoon-fed in a way as compared to like international school kids.
Okay.
And then English isn't our strongest suit, at least not for me. So I went there, first tutorial, I didn't say a single word because I was like, I don't know how to express myself. And I'm an extrovert, so that was quite tough. I remember going back home, and then I told my cousin, I'm like, okay, my goal for my next tutorial is just to speak up.
Okay.
So pushing yourself to do that, and also, I guess learning how to bullshit, because I think seriously though, I feel like, especially when I start work in Australia, so many people, they're so good in talking. They might not be the best in doing,
right?
But they can pitch their way through things. And I picked this up a lot in uni.
I see. But so like in order to like communicate, you have to learn to kind of like bullshit a bit. Because but then so your English level is like, okay, for Ichong is good in Ichong, but it's definitely good enough to win 3语言奖比赛. So like is it like because you don't communicate in English? Is that why? Like 平时 at home, like with your friends, you just speak Mandarin.
Exactly. Yeah, we're so used. I read a lot of English, but I don't watch movies, and I don't listen, and I don't talk a lot in English.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was also a lot of immersing myself in. I just listened to a lot of podcasts, and then like our Malaysian accent is so strong.
Right.
Shit, man. Last time, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we say 3 ma. So I used to work in a Malaysian restaurant, and then I was like, they were like, oh, we want 3 roti canai. They say canai, and I was like, yeah, 3, and then they were like, no, 3. I'm like, yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then it was just like,
it was
a joke.
Okay.
The TH that we can't pronounce, or we just don't emphasize on it. So there's little things like that I had to learn and change a bit, because you always feel that your English isn't good enough for them, or they don't understand because of certain accents and things like that.
I see. But the fact that that person like 特地去强调那个很明显你在讲 tree 嘛 but 他就是 like 他要去抢，
他听不懂
really 啊
but I think
这在故意
they're quite white Australians lah, like older generation.
Okay.
That might be why. But when I say 1, 2, 3, and then they get it, and yeah.
是你发音不准而已 okay, that I understand.
对，我发音不准。
Oh wow, okay, very okay. So then like that's something like you had to realize that我们的 Malaysian accent actually affected, and also the fact that you don't speak a lot of English also affected your ability to communicate. Like you say, you're an extrovert, but then when you suddenly you lose the ability to 表达自己, then you very jealous. Okay.
Yeah. And also confidence, I think. Confidence in just, saying what you think. That's also something that I think Asian education in general, we are just a bit more like, we listen, and then we don't want to be wrong. I don't want to get my hands dirty, that sort of thing. Whereas for them, they think something, then I'm more just say it. No matter like what's your role, or like you can be first year, like in a group of like third year class, they are still very open and very confidently speaking up. Because I remember in my third year, and then I was like, we had to speak up in tutorials, and then I didn't read that essay, but I'll just do a quick summary, search Google, and then I'll just raise my hand and say what I think about it. And I just like, oh my God, it's really just it's a mindset shift as well. Like you
Right,
probably had
right.
the same idea, but whether
Yeah.
or not you dare to speak out about it, that changed me a lot in terms of how I
Mm.
think
I think
about things.
actually
Yeah.
the way you did it is actually quite good because like in a way, right, it's good that you don't want to you don't want to talk too much about things that you don't know about, right? It's just that like 我不确定的话，我不要讲太多，right? 比
Yes,
我更
yeah.
会的人应该有更多意见，我不要给太多意见 right? Then I see, but I'm like that a lot of the times. I mean I can communicate well on things I know about. Like if you today talk to me about
Sure.
programming or cars a bit or shoes, maybe I can contribute. But if you talk to me about I don't know, like fixing something or something that I'm not familiar with, like marketing, right? If today if I'm in a group of friends and then like you guys are talking about marketing, I will just diam or I will ask a lot of questions because 对我来讲 我不知道嘛，所以 that's why like 这个 podcast, like when you talk about to me about marketing stuff, then I have questions like, oh, this and that. But I feel like there's something good in knowing that you don't know lah. I feel like because I met a lot of people in the workplace that 大炮 I feel like I think maybe that's because I don't expose much to Angmo culture too much, but I feel that the 大炮 kind of feeling sometimes it goes too far, and especially when people, if you're 大炮 but you are 大炮 on something that's not very important, like just talking
random,
right, random, then it's okay. But when it's like work related things, right, and then like in my line of work, you cannot be very like need to make a lot of important decisions. Sometimes the upper management need to make important decisions, and then sometimes people don't know what they're talking about. Then they make the wrong decisions, and then like I asked somebody before, like there was a guy that 大炮 me also. He told me last time, 你知道吗? He's very Sarawak pride. 他很爱 Sarawak. 我们都很爱 Sarawak 啦 okay, but he's super 爱 Sarawak. Then 他跟我讲，你知道吗？西马整天滥用 Sarawak 的资源 blah blah blah. And then 我们 Sarawak 犧牲很多资源给他们。Then I said, 是咯。I just agree with him. Then he said, 你知道吗 ？Sarawak 发电还要发电给西马。然后我想Sarawak 怎样发电给西马哦？然后你是我们的 Batang Air 可以发电发给 Johor。我想我就觉得很奇怪，有这样厉害咩？这个那个电线从 Sarawak 古晋接到 Johor， 然后我就 check 没有这种东西存在，但他很 confident， 然后就弄到我怀疑我自己。对 ，got this kind of person 啦
，right,
very strange. Okay, yeah. But I think it's good lah. I think because in your line of work, you need to. I mean, I'm sure you learn the good things and you didn't learn the bad things. Like you are confident but not 大炮. There's a fine line there.
Definitely. I think I'm all about doing it more than talking about it, because you can talk as much as you want, but if you don't show up and show results, then no point left. So that's why I didn't quite like if you just all talks and no action.
Yeah, only talk the talk.
But I salute them for being able. Yeah, they can talk as much even without action.
So it's mostly like through your, so okay, you said your major is arts, and then you like marketing was like one elective in that 1 or 2 semesters, right? Then then it's mostly maybe it's through your internship that you got to expose yourself more to marketing.
A bit of I've always been quite involved in a lot of different things. So like internships is one, and then after graduation, I did a few jobs actually, because there was one job that was to earn money. One job was I still sell shoes because retail pays very well, especially on weekends. You get paid $40 on Sundays, $40 AUD
per hour.
Per hour. Normal rate is like 25.
That's more than my salary now, I think.
It's crazy. So I kept 3 jobs at one point, where retail was to earn the extra cash. And then there was another startup job that I took up. It's a local Australian startup, so we actually don't get paid for it. But they give you like allowance, so it covers my like train, like my accommodation, not my food and travel. But just trying out a lot of different things. And then after that, I joined Pencil Rocket in Australia. So kickstart a lot of different things there too. And because I was pretty much the only marketing person, they started out as a video production company. And when I joined, we pivoted into a bit more into marketing because clients were asking about it. But a lot of times it's just doing things that interest you. Because in the end, a lot of times when I look back, like how my last job in Australia was actually in Crown Casino in the digital marketing company team. My grandma thought I from Taiwan, but no. Anyway, so the dealer, right? But looking back, how I was able to get that job which was beyond my expectations, was also because I have always been working in Pencil Rocket, but Pencil Rocket was always a after hours thing. So I had another full time going on because it was very small. It was a startup and they couldn't pay, it's different pay. So I needed a full time, but I was always doing it as a outside of work thing.
Okay.
But because of that digital marketing experience, I was able to get into Crown because I was able to talk. I was able to show that I've done this and that. So really it's a lot about, I think, just trialing a lot of different things to really find out what interests you. And that was how I found that, okay, I actually quite enjoy digital marketing and I might want to do it, even back home as well.
Right. But all these things, right? All these like, okay, selling shoes on the weekend, joining Pencil Rocket and then joining Crown, all these things, right? All these things, right, happen like in the span of like 2 years only, like 1 year, 2 years. Very fast. A lot of all these things happen in a very short time after you graduated.
Yes. But then I guess during uni times, I also tried a lot of different other roles. I was a waitress in the Malaysian restaurant. I had community, I was in debating. And also we had this, there was this startup called Austin International where they used to bring students to, let's say, to Hong Kong or to Singapore. And then for 3 weeks time, and then you actually work, you do case studies, like there's 3 weeks. So first week you actually have like teach you like soft skills and all that. How do you make presentation decks? How do you present communication? And second and third week you get to work in different companies to present a case. So I was a participant and then later on I was a facilitator, and that taught me a lot too in terms of like, how do you present? And I think that was where I find out that one of the things that I really enjoy about work is that being able to inspire and nurture. Because when I was a facilitator there, I was, working with a whole team of uni students, and to be able to see them improve in that 3 weeks time is just so rewarding. So that was when I was doing reflection on what I actually want to do, I think this memory stood out a lot. And this kind of like, made me feel that I really want to have my own company and team even back home as well.
Wow. Out of like hearing all this, right? Remember like how I introduced you in the beginning saying like, okay, more fun son. And then now I hear all these things that you did, right? And I'm like, whoa, this is like hustle, so hustle, like the it's a grinding. And I'm like, wow, what was I doing in university, man? What was I doing?
No.
I was just like, I'm like, wow, I'm so impressed that you did so many things and exposed yourself to so many different things. And in such a short time, actually, right? It's not very long, right? Your university degree was 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
And then another 2 years. So in like 5 years, right, you never stop, actually. Like from Ichong time until you always just PR. And I think from your perspective, right, do you even feel like you are PR anymore? Or it's just 习惯了? It's just how it is, and it's just right. It's already like, to me, if I were to do things like you now, I will be like, wow, unreal. But then I think like for you, right, since like maybe since 小学 also you've been just like, oh, like okay lah, 做工 is the state of mind I'm in. Like, okay, I'm just working, but it doesn't matter I'm working for someone or working for myself, but I should always be busy doing something. And I know that you say on your Instagram sometimes, I'm so tired, and then 我做很多东西 this week, and then 很 tired. But I think at the back of your mind, you are a bit of a workaholic also, right? You enjoy it a lot. You enjoy it a lot. I think, and I think that's something that a lot of people should learn. I myself should learn also, like to make the default state of mind, right? Your default is already in a working state of mind. You're always in a working state of mind, and that's your default. So like when you 没有在做工，不是你反而不习惯。
Yeah, I think I always find something to do in a way.
Yeah.
Because I was chatting with a childhood friend. I don't know, you might not know Dinah. She's also a cousin. In Sanxia, we were always together. So I think it's also how like what you say. It's we are used to it because like back since primary, and then we had like piano, ballet, the island ballet and piano for like 10 years, both. And also like, calligraphy, whatever. Like we're the type that goes to every single class.
Yeah.
Not really tuition, but every other talent classes.
Yeah.
But we actually enjoy it. So I think we're also used to it in a way, because we were just talking like, how we're a bit in similar mindset.
Yeah.
She's working as an architect, but she also has a side hustle, and then she still want to do things.
Right.
I think we enjoy that as well. And that's why I feel that it can keep going, because we actually genuinely enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't find it like, of course it gets stressful and things, but
Mm-hmm,
it's like
mm-hmm.
it's also fun. It's also very
Right.
rewarding and fun.
You know, I think I didn't even mention all the things that you did in Izhong. I keep mentioning San Yu Lian and everything, but I also remember you were in Hua Yue Tuan, I think, and also in Huan Bao Se, is it? Or was it you?
No, I was in debating. Debating was a big part of it.
Debating, San Yu Lian, all these things. Yeah, so I haven't even I just scratched the surface only on the things that, and I'm sure you there's a lot of things in your uni that you missed out also, like the things that you did. So yeah, I think that's like one of the things that made like trigger me to invite you to the podcast also, because I feel like this学妹this 同学 from Yichong last time is like one of the most, you know, I feel like when I see like Miko Chang, right, and then I see you, I feel like you guys are on like the same level of, you know, Miko Chang also, right, for sure, right? Zheng Mei Li. So I feel like, okay, these names like Yang Yue Ling 的女儿叫什么 Ye Xiaohan, so Ye Xiaohan, I feel like these people in Yichong last time was like, okay, 这些人 is like, okay, nobody will especially me lah, you know, the 顽皮的小孩整天追女孩子的那个So I think like yeah, I was always very impressed with you guys. But last time I was very childish, so 以前一种 is very fun, play everyone, and then 成绩也是没有很好. But luckily when I went to university, I took my studies more seriously. After I met my girlfriend, I took my studies more seriously, and so I'm very grateful that the difference between Yichong me and the now me is like a very, very big difference. Because at Yichong, right, my results were so bad that my dad told me, right, I went to Curtin 嘛 so my dad told me like, 如果你 first semester 你 fail anything 你给我回来在家里做工 because my dad has a like mechanic shop, right, 你如果 fail anything 你就回来不用浪费我的钱去那边读书 that's like what my dad told me. So I was like okay, 我不能怪你啦，我的成绩真的很烂But then luckily, right, the first semester I met my girlfriend, right, I met my girlfriend like in the middle of the semester, and then I get to know her, then like I learned to learn at that age. Like when I was 19, I learned to learn after 高三 then I learned to how to study and learn that 我不会笨只是我懒惰而已and then like learn to learn. So I think I in that way I'm grateful, but at the same time I feel like I still have a long way to go to be like you. Like I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Like okay, it doesn't have to be like marketing or starting your company, but I don't want to have 这样多空闲时间. I think I shouldn't lepak 这么多. I think at our age, like it's good if we don't lepak so much. Like okay, it's good to, you know, scroll Instagram once in a while, post some funny stuff. But also I should always be I mean I should make the working kind of mindset my default. You know, okay, if I'm not working, I'm going to the gym. If I'm not gymming, I'm doing podcasts. If I'm not doing podcasts, I should be reading. Something like that. That I should always have something to do instead of sitting down there and just scrolling. That's what I do. I still do that. I'm pretty productive, right? I think, but I still do that a lot. I just 放着 and 看 YouTube and just like, and then you find 没有东西做，可是我又懒惰去 gym 我又懒惰去. I think that that's like the first thing. I mean, we haven't even jumped into your pencil rocket and everything and your how you actually started a business. And I'm already like wow, so wow.
No, but it's also a different life. I think it's just a lifestyle choice in a way because my boyfriend always we're a good balance. Like he's more chill in a lot of things. And so he always like, you know, when I'm with him, then we'll Netflix we'll actually watch movies and all that. I don't really watch YouTube. I think it's also at home we don't really watch TV. I wasn't used to that as a kid. So and I'll watch movies when I'm with friends because, you know, I want to spend time with them and they like to watch movies, so I'll watch that. But sometimes I also feel that, you know, it's not necessary this is the only lifestyle choice. It's just my choice in a way. There's no really like, you know, right and wrong. Right. Because my boyfriend always tell me that, like, you know, that's your choice, but you know, you don't enforce me into it. I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah. So I noticed that in a relationship, right, there's always one that's extroverted and one that's introverted. In my case, obviously, I'm the extroverted one. And my girlfriend is actually the opposite of me completely. So are you the extroverted one also in the relationship?
Definitely more, but he talks too. It's more like, I guess, like with his own group of friends, and he's quite extroverted. But with like new people, then I'm more extroverted.
Right. You have to be, right, because you're doing marketing and stuff. You have to be very right. Okay, very cool. I was gonna let's go. Where are we now? Okay, I think I also got like one list of things to ask also. So okay, let's jump into after your. Did we forget to continue anything from that previous conversation? Did we
No,
tell?
I think
Okay, let me think.
no, I think all good.
Okay, so you after you finish uni, then you start doing a lot of startup things, and then you started working at Pencil Rocket of
Yeah,
Australia of Melbourne.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they were a content creation video kind of company, and then they decided to go
Mm.
into marketing, right? That's what you said.
Clients were also asking about it, and then I joined at the right time, so we offered more of that services as
I
well.
see. So you worked there for a while,
Mm.
and then what was it about? And then you came back to Malaysia, and then you actually opened a Pencil Rocket branch, is it, in Malaysia as well?
Yes, yes,
And then
yeah.
so what was it about Melbourne that made you feel like, okay, I don't want to be here? You said you just came back during MCO, and then so
Mm.
why didn't you just choose to stay there? Because for me, right, after I earn Sing dollar, it's very hard for me to go back to Malaysia. And then but then
Yeah,
you
understand.
earn Aussie dollar, and then what made you want to come back to
Mm.
Malaysia?
Sure. I think one main thing, I mean, there's a few things why I decided to move back from Melbourne. One is definitely the visa wasn't that easy to get,
Oh,
especially in marketing. So if you're in IT, nursing, there are a few degrees that, like, Angmo's one, Australian one, and they don't have that. They're lacking a bit more in that talent. Marketing is definitely not a talent that they lack. They are very good in
oh,
it themselves. So
technical
I'll either have
degrees.
to move. Yeah, I have to move to like Adelaide or Tasmania, and it will be a couple of years more. And I just felt that because my boyfriend was in KL, my family is in Malaysia. And if I do want to go home ultimately, um, better now than, 2 more years, 3 more years, because I felt that at that point I've worked like 2 years plus in Melbourne. I've tried certain things, and then I haven't started climbing the ladder. So it's easier to start anew because I know for a fact that if I go back, it's like a fresh start. I need
Mm.
to just start meeting people again, getting used to the culture, local culture, and all that. So I think it's easier at 24. I think that was when I moved back, like 24, rather than like, when I'm 28, 30, then I'm like a manager in Australia. That's even more to give up.
Mm.
So I just felt that,
Mm.
just do it and just leave. So yeah, that was how I decided to come back
Wow.
at that
Okay.
time. Lah.
Okay. And then so since you were director, you said at Pencil Rocket, so you got like approval from the head office to say, okay, you want a branch to Malaysia. Did they have any other branches in Asia area?
No, but at that point it was also that my friends, so the co-founders are my very close friends, and then they were saying that why don't you give it a try, and
Oh.
then I thought like because initially I think I've always envisioned about working in MLCs, like those big or like Google, Facebook, and even in Malaysia, just because of
Okay.
the like salary is part of it, and also like I think I can learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just try not to convert and think of how much I used to earn. Like I
Yeah.
think that's not just not healthy in a sense.
Okay. Okay.
But when I came back, and then that was what they said, and I'm like, okay, actually, let me consider that and think about it. But then actually, when pandemic hit, I was a bit worried. Like
Mm.
I've made a decision. Okay, I'm gonna start Pencil Rocket here, the digital marketing company, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was worried because I thought that that's where marketing budgets of companies will get cut, and like how are
Right.
we gonna do it? And
Right. Right. Right.
and there was a lot of these concerns, and I guess the possibility of not getting a steady paycheck is a bit scary as well, that you might not have anything, you might not earn anything for the first few months,
Wow. Right.
that sort of thing. So that was quite scary. But then I came back to Kuching, chill a bit for like a month plus, quarantine, and then surprisingly there was actually people who start asking about it.
Mm.
So that in itself kind of like justified the demand for digital marketing locally, because I
Okay.
never
Okay.
thought that Kuching would actually have the demand, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But I think that because of the pandemic, businesses get the need that they need to be online.
Right.
They actually felt it. They can't do road shows or events. So how are they gonna get heard or get business online? And then that's where they started looking for people. And looking back, I remember like when I first started, we had two interns. So there are
Mm.
also two from Itong. I think you might know. One is
Yeah.
Yang Ro, one is Xiao Han.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erica and
And
Celine.
yeah. And at that point I never thought of being able to hire full time. I can't comprehend how we can hire full time logistically.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
I think I was also very lucky and very thankful to be in the right time, meeting the right people and all that. So it just really escalated quite and grew fairly well. So yeah, I hired my first full-timer in 2021. That was like a little milestone for myself and for the team as well. So
That's
yeah,
nice.
that's a bit of how we started.
Wow. Okay. Then, so you started in Kuching, and then so before that, right? Before like pandemic hit and everything. So I think because Kuching is not very big, so a lot of things in
Yeah.
Kuching were more like word of mouth kind of thing, right? Okay. Depends on
Sure.
who you know, right? Depends on who you know. I remember about a year ago, you posted on Instagram because we follow each other on Instagram. So I noticed you posted on Instagram that you were programming a chatbot or something on Facebook, and then like learning how to
Yes.
play around with pet chatbot. And you said that because I think that time chatbot, I used a few chatbots. Like when you go to some Facebook pages, the chatbot pops up and say, hey, how can I help you, things like that. And I said, oh, this is cool. Like they already takai, they know what kind of questions people want to ask, and then they give you an amount of, and wow, I was like very impressed. Like wow, she learned how to do this chatbot thing. And you said that it brought you some leads, and I was like, oh, this is very impressive that she learned how to do this. Okay, so then you started Pencil Rocket, and then recently Pencil Rocket, is it a rebranding or is it a completely new company? It's so digital.
It's a new company, but yeah, we rebranded into that. Just also a few reasons are like I also wanted a more local name in the way why local is that. So I was talking to YB, right, and then he was like, "Oh, rocket lah, wah takut lah." And I'm like, and people tend to because there's two words, and then they always like, oh, the pencil or the rocket or the pencil rocket, that sort of thing. And also I wanted a more digital focus because our Australia team is more focused on videos. So that's why I pivoted because we are focusing on digital marketing here. That's why the whole rebranding as well.
Okay, so Soul does Soul stand for anything, or is it just solar, so sun?
Soul is sun. Yeah, it's sun. So for us, it's really all about growth, be it like for clients or for us internally. And I like it that it's the same pronunciation as Soul, SOUL. So doing things from heart. That's also something that matters to us internally.
That's nice. That's nice. Oh, so okay. So then another thing that I saw on your LinkedIn, and also you mentioned before, is Facebook. Like you are the first. You and your team or yourself. You are the first certified Facebook lead. First, like lead. What's the word? What's the correct term?
Trainer. It's lead a trainer. Facebook certified lead trainer. Yeah.
So
they just launched.
The word lead in here is not title, right? It's like lead is like a, what do you call it? The leads, the number of leads you can get. Or is it title?
Actually, I don't know. I think it's title, but we never really asked. But that was the name of the program and the cert that we got as well. But Malaysia just launched this Facebook Lead Trainers program, and we were the first batch that actually got it. So we were giving workshops to all around business owners or anyone in Malaysia essentially who wants to join these courses. And Facebook want to push out certs to get people actually officially certified and be digital marketers that understand more about the Facebook platform. So that was what we were helping business owners to equip themselves a bit more as well, and just share more about digital marketing. That was quite fun. I actually enjoy sharing with people.
I see. So like if you are certified for Facebook, does it mean you're certified for Instagram as well, since they are under the same company?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So now technically you are a Meta lead.
Meta,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Not used to it yet.
Right. Cool. Okay, so you're the first batch in Malaysia lah. That's very nice. That's very nice. What else was I gonna ask? Okay, yeah. So it's like something about starting your company, right? It was like for me, I would love to start a company someday, right? But I don't. First of all, no idea. I got no idea what to start. Second of all, like even if I have the idea, right, I get very, very scared simply because of, I don't know. It's the risk and reward, right? There's a high risk of like starting a company, and then you hear all these stories of companies not making it and stuff like that. So I'm very, very scared. So I think like I want to ask you, like, what's an advice you would give people, like specifically me lah, because I want to know, right? If I want to start a company, because I feel like it's cool to earn money in Singapore, earn the Sing dollar, but at the end of the day, right, it's still working for people. And I always feel like in Kuching you can still be very rich if you have a business, and you can earn more than whatever you're earning in Singapore as well if you have a good business. But like just taking that first step to open a company, 我不敢，很怕, and I feel like I need to be responsible to this person's livelihood, this person's salary, and all that things. So I feel like what would you say to someone like me that want to start a company?
Sure. I think for me myself, I go by the quote of you miss 100% of the shots not taken.
Okay.
So it's always about I'll just do it. Even if like there's something that I'm not sure, I
Mm-hmm.
always take it first. And then because I feel that I can learn it. I'm confident that I can learn it or I can deliver that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. But I think in your case also, doing it is one once you have an idea, but also to prep up for it. What I would do like from last time is I talk to a lot of people who are
Mm.
in similar. They can be in similar I guess stages, but also people who have like made it for me. Like I think that they are in the position that I want to be. So I'll
Mm.
talk to them, I'll get their insights and also get a bit of validation in a sense. That's one, because that also inspire, having conversations like that inspire you to do more or like
Right.
think a bit differently.
Right.
And also I think, there's always the safety net or like, the worry that when you start and then you don't get a steady paycheck and all that at the start, which is very true. But you can always start it, outside of your current work right now, as long as you have the idea. Just try it.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. Then at the same time, you still have that safety net
Right.
of like that's how I can still do Pencil Rocket as a startup because I have a paycheck from Crown, for instance, and that gives you a bit of that assurance. But you just gotta,
Yeah.
like just hustle a bit more because it's quite tiring as well.
Right.
But that would help. And also, I think as long as you can validate the idea and get a few like buy-ins, like just talk to friends about it, or actually there's a market demand for it,
Right.
then yeah, why not? Because oftentimes is that if we just think of that, like where I see businesses sometimes don't go as well, is that they just think that this might work, but they never really validate that
Right.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would just start with a small one, like MVP if we call it in the startup world. Just try that. And if that works, then we grow it more, we grow it more, which is actually we've also pivoted a bit, like, or like focus on different things for Pencil Rocket, for Soul Digital. And it's really about understanding what the market wants and then of course suiting it, but also doing well in it. But at the start, I think for me it's really just fuck it and do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't mind cursing. Just curse as much as you want if you're holding back. Yeah. So yeah, I think I think what you say is true. Yeah, try to hustle a bit more. That's right. Actually, if we being very honest, I can hustle a bit more. Right now, I just do my 8 to 6 job, right, and then after that I just休息 or do my own thing. But actually, that time can be spent doing something else, right? So I think
if that's what you want,
yeah.
Because I also feel that it's not necessary to be honest. I feel like entrepreneurship is a bit glorified in a way. People think that it's like it's wow, you get rich fast. There's, to be honest, nothing you can get nothing fast. I don't believe in get rich fast,
right.
or things like that, or shortcuts and all that. But it's a different lifestyle. And what comes with it is definitely like what you mentioned as well, the sleepless nights. I remember like I will wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't done this and that. Yeah, all the time. And when cash flow is a bit tight, but then you gotta pay salary and then you need to gather all of this. That sort of stress is what you probably wouldn't get if you don't choose that lifestyle. But it's just what you want in the end.
Right. Wow.
Because at the start, I don't think you get more money or time freedom. Like I think it's really not like you don't get that freedom at the start, especially when you just started building. I mean, like when it's steady and on its road, then it's a different story.
Right.
But like for me, I feel like I work 100% more than when I was working for someone.
Right.
In a way, because it's also my own thing. I also want to make sure that it's working and all that.
Yeah, I think I think I'm not sure if like our parents' generation, right? Was it more like were they more daring than us? Like this generation, not you lah, but this generation on average, right? I feel like most people just want to do the safe route and work for people, and not. I feel like it's me, but also a lot of people can feel the same that 我不敢 because 很 scary 咯. I feel scary. Yeah. Is it less now, or has always been the same? Like, or is it now 其实更多人想开自己的生意?
I think now there's more people 每个人要做自己的老板 in a way. Yeah, it might be media that's like influencing everyone that being your own boss is the best thing. Because honestly, I don't think that it's the best thing. It's just a choice, because you can work in a tech startup or a tech company and still earn so much. I heard of my friends who work in Amazon, Facebook, Apple. Their pay is crazy, and you're still doing great things because you get to. There's so much structure is already in place, so you can still do it. Maybe a bit different if it's in a bit more old school corporates lah, which I'm not gonna say much, but I think it's just a different choice because I also seen friends who work in like Stripe and do super well, and yeah, but being a business owner, it's quite fun too lah. In a way.
Okay. I see what you mean. I will try. I will make sure. I'll try. Okay, this 2021, I have a lot of goals to complete. I wanna be that kind of person that has a list of goals and that's it. So 2021. Podcast is one of the things that one of the things that I wasn't really taking very seriously. The December, all the flooding in KL happened, and I was like gonna make a podcast. I was gonna make a podcast to like complain about our government and stuff like that. But then I tried one podcast zero with some random person on Reddit. He just offered to. I asked and then he offered to be my guest. And then I did the podcast, and I realized, 其实我不知道我在讲什么东西。我想 complain about 我的 government， 可是我不知道要 complain 什么，因为我不知道其实。所以因为 I'm not comfortable talking about things I don't know. So then I found that podcast was like a pile of garbage fire. So then I feel like, okay, then I'm gonna change the tone of the podcast. It's gonna be just either if I have a guest like Darren or some funny friends, then I will talk about funny stuff, or and then have a bit of seriousness. But I think the podcast, it mostly will be me inviting interesting people around me, and hopefully the podcast, I can invite more and more interesting people. I mean, like in terms of like the number of followers on Instagram, I want to get more and more, and hopefully invite someone like Syed Sadiq or what's her name, Justina or something like that. These popular Malaysian people that are very successful in our generation. So then more and more. So like so you guys, right? You and Chiwi and all these people, right, are the ones that like the closest to me right now that I can contact, and I know you will probably reply me, because if I go and message anyone right now, right, they won't reply me because they don't know who I am. So hopefully then people know more about the podcast, then I can learn more. So that's like the first step I'm taking, and it's actually like zero risk for me. Like if the podcast fail, I didn't 投资 a lot of money. The only thing I 投资 is like
equipment.
My time and the microphone. That's all. And so that's why I say like anyone that like you people that agree to come on my podcast, right, it's like a big benefit for me, because like you're doing it for free now also, like, so it's like helping me, and so I'm very grateful to people like you that agree to come. Thank you so much.
No worries.
So this is like that's one thing I was like thinking also, like if I don't start a business, how else can I make money fast? So I'm thinking like, okay, the podcast gains some traction, I can invite some popular guests, then that's how I can get some sponsors or anything on the podcast. Then as long as the podcast can cover my basic rent, cover my basic expenses every month, then it's very already very comfortable. I can move out from where I'm staying now, move into a nicer, bigger apartment or something. Then I can host the podcast in person instead of having like this. Like in a year's time, right, or two years time, hopefully my podcast is very popular. I can buy you an airplane ticket. You can fly to Singapore. Then we can have a podcast in person. Wow, sweet, steady. That's like the dream of the podcast lah. So yeah, that's my.
I think even
idea.
In Singapore, there's heaps of people that's pretty good to interview.
Next week I have I think one of next week I have my first guest that 我不认识的. That's my first guest. It's a girl from Google. She worked in Google for 7 years. She has a YouTube channel, and then she also her story is she worked in Google for 6 or 7 years. Then she quit Google. She went and worked at TikTok, and she worked at TikTok for 4 months only. Then she quit. Yeah. So in that podcast,
I think I saw. Did she had a LinkedIn post that went viral? Why do I feel like
I think she did. Jamie is her name. Jamie.
Yes, I'm quite sure I saw her post on LinkedIn.
So she'll be my guest, and then I hope in that podcast, because I've worked in several big companies before. I worked at Intel before. I worked at Micron before, and so I have an idea of how the corporate world kind of works, but from a perspective of an engineer lah, not the like marketing team or anything. So I think we can talk about that. So I think one of the things that I want to talk to her about is like the kind of toxic attitude that is present in the kind of in the work environment. Like I remember you posted a few days ago, you want to start a like ethical hiring company or something. Ethical was
not me, but a friend wanted to. I was helping her to find.
I think ethical is very important in that in that, because I feel like a lot of ethics are lost nowadays when hiring people. It's just like just to reach the number, just to reach, like they have a quota there to 这个月你要
head count
head count to number. And then people get assigned to positions where they maybe not comfortable or not doesn't really suit them. Yeah, I have so many recruiters contacting me for Java jobs when actually I don't even know Java. I know JavaScript is a completely different language, but people contact me for Java, so I feel like they 没有用心 lah. I feel
They don't know.
So I feel like, oh cool, you like the fact that you posted that, and I feel like, wow, you are around these kind of people, So I feel like that's nice that you have friends around you that have these kind of ideas to change the
actually talking
job
about
market.
this. I think yeah, if you wanna start something, surrounding yourself with people who are like that does help in terms of helping you to be brave in a way. Because when I always believe in, like, you are the average of the 5 people around you.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's so true though, because you get inspired and then you get pushed, and then you feel that, okay, I can do this too, seeing that they are doing this. That's actually how I think in Melbourne, how I grew the most, where people around me were a lot of amazing people. I think Kuching is smaller in the sense, so there's limited amount of people you've met, and coming from Ichong, we hang out with more Ichong people, for instance, but you don't see a lot of other people. But in Melbourne, there's a lot of I remember I just feel like, wow, Malaysians are so amazing, or the Singaporeans are so good in what they're doing, so driven, and that's where it inspired me a lot as well, meeting those people.
Yeah. That quote really, I've related a lot with that quote. When I forgot where I read it, probably I saw it on YouTube or something, but I feel like it's true. Like somebody added to that. They say, like, if your closest 5 friends are millionaires and they are all richer than you will also be a millionaire. So if they have 10 million, right, and you have 2 million, you're still a millionaire, but you are the loser amongst the millionaires, lah, right? So so then I'm not saying like I'm not saying like my circle of friends is not good. My circle, 你们都在听着，可能 thank you， 你们都很好。But yeah, I also like by inviting you, inviting Chiwi, inviting all these that German girl from Germany also, like I'm learning I'm learning to like having this conversation with you, right? I mean, you're just talking about your experiences, but 不知不觉 I'm like already like inspired, and then 我的脑在转 thinking about how this, like 你在讲话，可是我在想可以开什么生意不知道 like so it's like I think having more of these conversations pushes me to do it. So the reason why I even started this podcast in December, I had the idea to start the podcast, but still I'm in the gray area, 没有推动力 like okay, there's 不要做 and then I met my friend from university, Johor girl. Then she's very driven, very motivated, very can-do attitude. She said 做 and then 就是这种 attitude that I need around I need around me, and I because 我跟她讲话，如果没有跟她讲话 then 我可能就没有那个推动力， and then 可能我就 forget about it 了，我就 forget about the podcast 就 okay 就这样2021就这样子过。 But because I met her, then I think 哇，这个人很 driven， 她在 Johor 做工but the money she making is more than me in Singapore, a lot more. More. Okay, then I'm so motivated by her, and I'm like, okay, I cannot go and start a business, but 我能够做什么？我能够 improve myself. 这个是 the best thing to invest in is myself. So then I made a list that 2021我一定要做到什么？去 gym 咯，看书咯，做 podcast, all these things. And then, so that's why I'm taking it very seriously, and I'm starting to get the attitude that I don't give a fuck what people think about it. Like, okay, 可能有些人看到 Justin 做 podcast 哎呀，做什么 podcast， 做聊什么，讲什么这样多。And then, 你不是 interviewer， 你凭什么去 interview 人家 right? But 我就 like fuck it 啦，我在学嘛。And then, 所以我就是进入这种心态。I think I want to continue this kind of like positive and don't give a fuck what people think. I think I get that vibe from you. I get that vibe from Chiwi. I get that vibe from most of my guests right now. I always invite like the most. I feel like I'm very happy with the list of guests that I have now. The whole list of guests is like full of very motivated and driven individuals. And 其实 如果 very selfish 来讲，其实是我在 benefit 啦 because 我在学 and then 我在 learn. So 等一下我听到打雷啊，我怕停电。Let me pause let me stop the recording first, just so I save the file, and then after that we can continue. Continue. Sorry, we had to stop recording because I was afraid there was a thunderstorm. So at least like even if I 停电 now and the file is corrupted, I still have 50 something minutes of the good podcast. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I think like I was really motivated by what you said there. After this, I even like to the point, right? You know, just to like hopefully get the podcast popular. I think one of the most important things about being a podcaster or a internet personality, right, is to have to look good. I mean, very narcissistic, right? But to look good. So
Yeah.
I go and 我要去
Yes.
做 braces just to get my teeth fixed, just to look nicer.
Oh,
And then
nice.
就听起来好像真的咩？真的咩？你真的去做 braces just to 做 podcast 咩？我讲是啦，如果我想要做这种 internet personality 在 Malaysia or Asia，这样我应该要 I don't look nicer，所以我就去做 braces，可能要去 gym all these things yeah. But yeah 啦 I think 讲出来 is okay 啦，不用hide 这种东西
It's
it's fine.
you're gonna do it now.
Yeah.
I think one thing that you talk about just now is that you know how don't care about what other people think when you're first starting something, which I think is super true because every time you start something, right, you're not good in it. And when you're not good at it, it's going to be cringy. It's going to be like, you know, you're not sure. But it's fine. So you just have to get through that part where like, you know, you're unsure. It's not as good. But then when it gets to a point where you're good at it, then no one's going to talk anything anymore because you've proven it. And so being thick-faced sometimes I think is actually a good trick. In a way.
I've always been very thick-faced, kind of 自恋 in 一种. I think I had this reputation of being very 自恋 about it. But I was very like 自恋 in a very 开玩笑 kind of way. Like 自恋 but 开玩笑，没有认真的自恋. But now I think like, I want to be more 真的是 thick-faced and 做这种 podcast. Like in my first few podcasts was also very cringe. And right now 其实我每次 edit 我也是很 cringe when I hear my own voice. And 现在我的 next thing but now I'm okay. I'm well more comfortable already. But the next thing I need to 跨过 is to record myself, because now I can have this record myself and look at the camera because I'm having a conversation with you. So I don't feel very camera shy. But one thing I want to learn is to have the camera recording me and I'm talking directly to the camera. Like how you make a lot of like marketing videos, right? Promoting your company, Pencil Rocket, also digital, and you talk directly to the camera. I don't have that skill and I'm very high set when I'm talking in front of the camera because like I hear my own voice and I think my voice sounds weird, or I don't think I look very nice, or I'm very conscious about my teeth and I don't dare to do this kind of things. So I think like that's the next thing I need to do. Like Chiwi, right, my previous guest, she told me that TikTok is a very good place to promote yourself. So I watched TikTok, I installed TikTok and I tried TikTok and I realized all these people, right, 虽然他们做的 video 有时候 okay 有些很好笑，有些很厉害，有些很so high, but what they all have in common, right, is they are so brave to 拍他们自己, you know. I don't dare to do that, and I feel like that's something that actually is very very hard to do, to just take video of yourself and you know take after take, fail after fail, and then you at the end you edit something together and post yourself online. 哇我还没有学会这个东西，所以我 very shy. So like and then 我觉得我很喜欢唱歌 and then 我又想要像 Darren, 你看 Darren post 那种弹吉他的 video 吗 and then 我也是想要这样子 and then but 我不会弹吉他 that's why 我昨天去买吉他来学因为我想要 post 我自己唱歌 and everything, so like yeah lah, this kind of thing. So I think that's the thing one of the things I need to get over in 2022 is like just the fact that 我很 shy or 害羞 about 我的脸，我不敢就以前中学的时候 I always selfie a lot, like that's that 那个时代的我们就整天 selfie 啦 but nowadays 很少人 selfie anymore, 很少人这样子拍照 anymore, right? It's usually like a professional 比较 professional 照片. So yeah, I want to 学会 how to 拍 myself in a professional setting. I think that's one of the things I want to do in 2022. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, I'll get back to my list of questions. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so being a boss, being a manager of your own company, right? Like, have you ever come across difficult customers and how do you deal with them? Like difficult people, like, okay, you don't have to name, and if you don't want to say, you don't want to talk about it, because like if you talk about them, right, maybe they know it's them. But I don't think they listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, have you ever met like difficult people and how you deal with them?
Of course, there's all sort of clients, and I think one important part is after we deal with it, and then it's more about auditing on how to not choose a difficult client the next time. Meaning to say, I think right now, I'm at a point where, you know, if at the very first few conversations I feel that something might not be right, I'll rather not take on this client.
Oh, wow.
Just because it's taxing for the team, for myself, when we're dealing with it as well, and they can be both mentally and work wise lah.
Okay.
So, but in terms of how do we deal with it when during that time, I think a lot of times just gotta suck it up and just handle it because we already have the job, and then we are paid for it, so just gotta keep doing it. But also managing expectations, like making sure that at the start this is what we offer. Be sure, and making sure that they know what they need to do as well, because it couldn't be sometimes it's just that they're not giving us what we need. They're not giving us review in time, and then they complain that the end product isn't good,
Right.
or they ask us to go in shoots a lot, that sort of thing. When miscommunication happen, then that's where it becomes quite difficult. But at times like that, to be honest, I don't mind letting go of clients who are like that, just because I think money is one thing, but it's affecting my team morale as well. And they might feel that, why is it so hard? And they have to spend so much more time on this client, which I think it's not worth it. So in the end, to be honest, I want to work with clients that jive as well with us. We have similar values, and yeah, they actually appreciate our work, because if you don't, then I'll rather not go ahead with
I
it.
see, but
that's my sense right now.
But you, like, in the beginning, then like, sometimes like no choice when you have a difficult customer, then like, because you need the reputation, and so you just to be nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that being very aggressive with them is a good idea? Probably not a good idea in your line of work. Probably it's not good to like
no.
tell them, say 你们乱乱来 cannot lah.
I think I can be honest and say that, like, if you do this, it's just not gonna work. That sort of thing, more factual stuff. But I mean, like, attitudes and all that, we are still a service industry in a sense. So, so you gotta, like, make sure that they're serviced well and all that.
Okay. But now with more experience and a bit of more reputation in Kuching, you can start to pick and then
choose. I guess.
How would you, like, okay, 今天 somebody very 麻烦, how would you tell them? I think 你不要来这边比较好. How would you say that?
To be honest, tough conversation like that are always a bit tough. I always write down a script actually in my notes, and I practice first. That's actually how I practice hard conversations. But I will say that it's the same as a breakup. It's us, not you. I think we can't deliver what you want.
Ooh.
So I think we're not, our expectations doesn't seem aligned, or maybe like we might not be the best fit. That's the sort of things that I would say. Maybe you can consider looking at. Sometimes I'll even recommend people to them, other people, in other players. If you want. They need someone that's very, very strong in video, for instance, and that might not be our strongest point. That sort of thing. It depends, but now I'm getting better at saying no, I think.
I see. But okay, so let's like do some promotion for your company. Your company is more popular than my podcast for sure. But just for the people listening, some people I know my lecturer from Curtin last time listens to the podcast. So like if you want to branch to Miri, okay, what kind of marketing do you guys do? Like for what kind of companies, and what have you done before? Like if it is like, just like give me like what kind of people can approach you.
Sure. So we're a digital marketing consulting and agency, a consultant and agency. Mm-hmm. So we do everything from the strategy part as well as the execution part. And we specialize more in Facebook ads and chatbot marketing. But of course, what other services that also comes about is also content creation, taking photos, videos, managing your page, making sure you're active online, reaching out to the right people. That's through ads. And also chatbot a lot of times to qualify leads as well, as a lead qualifying tool. In terms of our client base, actually a lot of our client base are in property. So everyone from CMS, Hock Seng Lee, some of the ones in Kuching, Tectonic and Sons, and also a bit in other industries. So we also have yes, and they're one of our first clients. I'm very thankful that they trusted us when we had nothing locally.
Yep.
Yeah, and also S&B. So Taka is one of our clients. Mm-hmm. Healthcare is actually, we've gotten a few. We work with a pharmacy, a dental clinic. So that's also some industry. As long as, to be honest, if they want to be online, they want to build that digital presence, because we always tell clients that Facebook, Instagram, that's your digital storefront. You always renovate such a nice physical storefront, but what about digitally? Right. How are people finding you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, how are they thinking about you? And we want to be able to change that perception, but also to of course, for them, end of the day, they want to get more inquiries and get more leads.
Right. So you help them set up their Facebook page, set up their Instagram page. But like, let's say, so the bot can only go so far, and then like when it needs some human interaction, right? is that part of your team's responsibility as well, or like they are people?
No, we don't do. Yeah, we usually pass that back to the business. So the bot works well in, like, let's say in property case, right? We get you a lot of engagement or people asking to a point where it's actually too overwhelming for the sales team to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually happens when you have good content and you run ads.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually quite you might get overwhelming responses on some posts.
Overwhelming.
So
Wow.
the bot helps. Yeah, like let's say, especially in certain markets, depending on the product as well. But let's say, what the bot does is they can go through the bot. So we filter people, we get them to go into the bot first. So they answer all the FAQs that they want, the pricing, what are the floor plans, what's the facilities, all of that. And then later on, if they're actually interested, they will actually put in their name and their phone number and email address that's automatically captured from Facebook. So a very easy, seamless experience for the customers. But from the client side, they get this more qualified list where they can just follow up straight away with them.
Right. So
that's where works well.
Also, like the customer, if they go through all the steps and then you have a list of like what they are looking for, and then this list along with their contact information will be sent to the client, and then the client can reach out.
Yeah, so it's there's some integrations in place to make that happen.
Do you do just Facebook? Do you do for Facebook ads, or do you also pay for like Google ads for SEO to show up on the top of Google when you search for Kuching property, like that example? Or should you do Google as well?
This is something that we started doing end of last year as well. So Google ads, SEO, and it flows well with all our services, because sometimes people do want that. Yeah, so that's and actually in Kuching it's very cheap in the sense keywords or like even ads buy as compared to Klang Valley, because we also run some ads for KL clients or like Singapore clients. Kuching cost per everything is so cheap just because competition is a lot lower. So it's easier because it's like an auction in a way. Marketing is like Facebook is like an auction. So you can beat a lot at a much lower price to get the results you want.
Right. So like if Adidas, they bid very high, they say that, okay, if you search for the word Nike, I want my Adidas ad to show up the first one. They can do that, right?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, but then this is a bit dangerous because people might also do that back to you.
Right. But at that scale, like if you wanna play around with Adidas, Nike, one ad could be costing a few $100,000 like that, right? Maybe.
Maybe I'm not sure about 100,000, but let's say in property line in Klang Valley, a lead might easily cost you 80 to 100, but in Kuching you can go down to like 10 ringgit, 5 ringgit, and even 3 ringgit for some projects.
Ooh.
For a message lah. Yeah.
I see.
So, or maybe like if you go by lead, at least like 5 to below 20 is no problem lah. So that's the advantage that Kuching businesses have, or like in general if your market is a bit less saturated.
Wow. Okay. I'm very intrigued because the first time I actually had like a marketing friend was in my previous company. This marketing guy. That's the only first time I understood that. Oh wow. All these ads, all these leads, like the number of impressions you have and all these things, he explained to me roughly lah. But then only I realized that it's actually a lot like it's actually it's a bit psychological also, right? The mind games, like when they put their ads and then you see it, but then maybe at the time you don't need it, but at the time then you have this impression in your mind. They use the word impressions, like the number of impressions, right? And then I feel like that's a bit very psychological. Like when I think of a marketing company, then if like the marketing company I see the most, then I will think about that company and I will reach out to them when I do want.
It's a frequency as well, because actually statistics says that it takes 7 touch points for someone to make a decision. So in a way, that's always when we talk about there's the marketing funnel, and top of funnel is where people just started to know you. And that's where you might not want to sell, but you just want to give value to people. So let's say even for Tupperware or a tumbler, they just tell you these sort of things are why you should use a tumbler instead of water bottle. That sort of thing is more educational. And then when you get the middle of funnel, that's where you have the intention to buy. But then maybe you're comparing. So maybe Tupperware might say that, as compared to Starbucks tumbler, we don't leak. That's like helping you to make that decision. And then bottom of funnel, that sort of messaging is where you push out with like promotions or like you give out a testimonial where people change from being just a browser to actual a paying customer. So there's also that part where, you kind of want to lead people down that journey, and it's not just about sell all the time.
Whoa. This is like completely like outside the circle of things I know. It's completely outside of the things I know. Like you can talk to me about coding or whatever, but it's like new information to me. I didn't even think about these
interesting
things.
marketing.
So I think that was a very very nice podcast. My special guest Miss Lunnie is gonna go off running in a while. Very good. She's not busy enough. She wants to go running some more, which is awesome. I think I don't know about the listener. I don't know who's listening also. Maybe my mom, maybe my lecturer. But I think for me, I can say that I'm very, very, inspired by just listening you talk. I think there's so much more we can talk about actually. I feel like you're a very interesting and motivated person. I'm very
Honored to hear that.
Okay, so I think we can end the podcast here. We can say bye everyone. Thank you everyone for listening.
Bye. Thank you.
Hopefully in a year's time, or maybe like few months time, 6 months, 7 months time, when the podcast is more popular, and I can have you on as a guest again. And maybe if the podcast starts making money, I can have a space that we can have a podcast in person. That would be nice.
We'd love to
eat some keropok, drink some coffee as we chat. That would be even more casual and more nice.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Let me stop my recording now. Thanks everyone. Bye.